Hey guys, what's up? What's going on? We're going to do a quick toot for the brows today using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow. I made a quick comment about it in one of my past videos asking if you guys wanted to see how I use this, so that's what we're going to do today. I feel like this is a product that is very tricky because I feel like it is not a consumer-friendly product. I feel like it is a bomb product. Don't get it twisted. However, this is not consumer-friendly, this is not everyday-friendly, this is not beginner-friendly. So I'm going to give you a few tips and tricks on how to use this. So my shade that I'm using right now is in chocolate. This is what I've always used, but I've been using the brow lace recently, and I think I like it better in dark brown. So once I'm out of this, I'll be sure to purchase it in dark brown. But first things first here, you need a brush. So the brush that I like to use is the Ardell brush. I get mine from Sally's. I think it's about $5. I know Anastasia Beverly Hills makes a brush for the dip brow. However, that brush is about $16. So if you are someone that wants to try to save a little bit of money, get you this one. Works perfectly fine. So the number one factor that you really want to make sure is that your brush is nice and shaped properly. After every use, you really want to make sure you pinch it back in place, because if your brush is all fluffy and not shaped well, what's going to happen is when you try to get a precision line, it's just not going to be as sharp and crisp as you want. You're going to have some issues just looking kind of blocky and just, you know, not so nicely blended out. So just making sure that your brush is nice and shaped. Also, quick little tip to keep it shaped: after you're done cleaning your brushes, make sure you wipe them off, and then as soon as you're done, you know, shampooing them and you wipe them off, make sure you shape your brushes back in place as well. So I've got my brush all nice and shaped. First thing that I do is I dip my brush into the product, and then the remainder, because I always tend to get a little too much, the remainder I always just wipe off on the sides of the jar, just simply because this keeps you from using way too much product. This can go from good to horrible in like literally the blink of an eye. So make sure you're always sweeping off the excess product here. You want to go in with the light hand. I say go in light and build upon it, because if you just go in with the gusto, you're gonna look like you filled in your brows with a Sharpie, and you know, that's not cute. We don't want to look like that. All right, first thing I'm going to do is brush up my brows. I feel like a lot of girls go wrong with trying to give their brow a shape that doesn't fit their face. I never do anything crazy with my brows or my clients' brows. I just work with what you have and just build on that. Once you start going for a whole nother brow shape, 9 times out of 10, if you don't follow what you naturally have, it's going to look very, very artificial. So I'm just sweeping up my brows, and I like to start right at the beginning of the brow here with a very, very light stroke. And I'm just going to follow what my brows naturally want to do. This is like the lightest pressure ever. Now, especially once you start getting to the outside here, let up on the pressure. So the closer you hold your brush, the more pressure you're going to have. The further away you hold it, the less pressure you have. Also, that's a little tip too when you're blending your eyeshadow. You want to hold your brush more towards the end, so that way you can blend it better. If you have it too close to the top where the bristles are, you're choking your brush, and so you can't really blend out anything lightly. So light hand here, and I'm just going to lightly feather it out. So basically, this is the base of the brow. That part is done. Now I'm going to go back into my jar again, just dipping in here and doing the same thing, dipping in and then just wiping off on the side. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to flip my brush over, so now I have it going horizontal. And I'm just going to start at the base here, and I'm just going to sweep up ever so lightly. Again, light pressure, and I'm not pulling it all the way to the top of my brow, just more like midway. Now, when I get towards the outside here, I'm going to use this tip, just a tip right here, and I'm slightly going diagonal, and so this is going to just kind of help give my brows the illusion of brow hair. And filling it in. Next up, taking the spoolie, super important, just brush up. So the reason why I have my brush vertical and flick it up only about halfway is just simply because the rest of the product that's halfway, once you start using your spoolie and you start sweeping it up, it's going to automatically blend it out and kind of give you a feathered brow look. I'm not a fan of like the harsh artificial eyebrows. That's just not me. I like it to look nice and natural. I don't go in and carve out underneath or on top. I just like it to look nice, natural. I'd rather it to look a little bit bushier than hard looking. And then doing the same thing now, I'm going to flip my brush going vertical at the beginning of the brow, and I'm just going to do light strokes here. And then again, taking the spoolie and just flicking it up. And I know that looks easier said than done. It took me a lot of practice to get this down. This is definitely something that I would not do if I was in a rush. Like, you want to make sure that you have enough time allotted out so that way you can really take your time with it. And then of course, the more you do it, the easier it gets. Now I'm just making sure everything is nice and blended cohesively. I also don't like the look of like the ombre brow when it starts off faded and it gets darker and darker. I like it all to just look the same all the way across. But of course, you know, this is just preference. This is just what I like. So keep in mind, you know, I might do some things that you don't like. Doesn't mean I'm wrong. It's just we're different, and that's okay. And that is basically it. So I'm going to go ahead and do this brow over here. Okay, so now that I'm done with my brows here, every time there's always still a little bit of product left, so I'm just going to wipe it off on the sides here of the jar, and then make sure you close this back up so it doesn't dry off. Now here's a super important part. Now, taking my brush here, and I always keep a paper towel on my vanity, and I just always wipe off any residue on the brush. And of course, when I wipe it off, I like to make sure that I'm keeping it nice and flat so that way the brush doesn't lose its shape. And I can honestly say that my favorite thing about this product is just the simple fact that this is legit waterproof. I've swam in this before. It's great for if you have oily skin in the summertime, so that's why I really, really love it. Like I said, it takes a little bit of time to kind of, you know, get it, but once you master it, it is really, really a great product. And also, you can get a natural looking brow. I mean, I feel like these aren't like the most natural looking because, let's face it, I'm on the struggle bus when it comes to brows. My brow hairs are very, very thin, but the rest of my hair everywhere else on my head, on my body is thick. Don't know what happened, but you can achieve a nice soft brow with this product. All done with my makeup. This whole situation here will be the next video, so I'm excited for you guys to see this because I don't typically beat my face this hard, so it was fun doing it. But anyhow, I hope this video was helpful to you guys. Please let me know below if you have tried the dip brow, if you like it, if you don't like it, and any other useful tips that you might want to share with our little beauty community, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.